maybe we don't have a time, so let's start to the section 3. It's the example of the data-driven route plannings. Yes, and this one showing it's and the comparison of methodology for the route plannings. Then which is prepared by Yamada-san in last month, and demand forecasting models showing this 2, 3, 4 columns of these tables, and so many software or some things, and the multimodal OD tables is secured, and it will take very long months and requiring some specific technology or some knowledge. But on the other hand, so there are in the public transport planning side, so the simplified assessment is also utilized, or the more practical ones. So in these sections, I will introduce the first columns, simplified assessment in the mainly. Okay, then this page showing the basic concept of the route plannings. And then when you consider the route plannings, so the following viewpoints can be seen. First one is the user convenience. Second one is the operators' profitability. And the third one is the local communities' fairness. Which one showing the equitable distribution of service and the elimination of transport blank area. So the two achieve the following the three outcomes. And so the network design and the specific route design and the service and operation planning shall be coordinately implemented. However, and the following three items is called as a public transport route plannings. However, to achieve the three items, so the understanding the local mobility needs are necessary. Then this is one of the measure to understand it is utilizing the demand forecasting models. However, this is not the only one solution. Then the route planning. This is the key considerations in the route plannings. Yes, and some items is have some contradictions, so there need to consider following items. Then this one is the how to understand. Among these 12 items as a key consideration in the route plannings, then there are ninth items, service frequency is the much more important. Hi. Hello? Hi.
Yes, Akabebot.
Yes. Thank you, Nel. I just wanted to raise that because the study of Quezon City is very often alluded to in this presentation by the honorable gentleman from Japan. Number one, the study of Quezon City takes into consideration what the specific instructions are in the PTRP manual. So that is one consideration. So if we are going to follow the recommendations being presented to us in this study, the PTRP manual has to be amended in order for it to clearly indicate what it is that we intend to consider from what is being lectured upon us. Secondly, and this is actually a bigger concern, is that if the details that are being sought in the recommendations of this project are going to be considered in their entirety, I am afraid that many of the relevant data and research that must come prior to the analysis that is recommended are not immediately available. So if we are going to consider them, we are going to have to broaden the scope of the LPTRP study so that time can be allotted to undertake the preliminary research. And secondly, resources can be made available. Because uh, given that the city, Quezon City has already accomplished what it has accomplished based on what is in the LPTRP manual, and if that is still found to be insufficient by this study, the study that is currently being presented to us, I am already telling you that the city government was very generous in allocating manpower and financial resources to undertake the study that we were able to accomplish. If we are going to dive into much deeper detail as what is recommended by the honorable gentleman from Japan, we are going to have to set a timetable that is, number one, lengthier, and also a an expectation that is number two, um a lot of funds can be poured into the LPTRP study itself. So as we consider what it is that is being advised to us by our consultants, uh these are 2 points that I would just want to raise, given that these have to be considered not only by the local governments in attendance, but also by the national government. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Thank you, Akaw Bebot, for that. I actually agree. No, basically the proposal of the JICA experts team on the um, components of the LPTRP, especially in the case of the Philippines, should first be presented or adopted through the LPTRP manual before we implement it across all LGUs in the Philippines. And also, since it is still a proposal, we will still have to assess what are the important parts that we think that should remain, especially in the case of the Philippines. Not all of the data are available, especially for it is actually different in the Japan, wherein AFCS data is easily readily available to gather operations data. Unlike here in the Philippines, we don't not all operators and not all routes have that kind of luxury. Um, uh, since it is one of the main factors in identifying the network or even the routes for the LPTRP, I think we should um, assess what important data that should remain in the LPTRP and what chapters it should remain, especially for those LGUs that have already developed their LPTRP, wherein they've poured manpower and resources in gathering all of those data to come up with a proper plan and come up with the rationalized and new developmental routes. So I think it is still up for discussion on whether we should follow these components. But I think that is also a question from me. Is it? Do you think Futosesan the more compressed LPTP or LPTRP template or format is applicable for the Philippines, considering that there's a lack of data like from the AFCS, and other factors that you've seen or have you considered in here in the Philippines?
Yes, so there, at this moment, so there, and Quezon City is implemented a very comprehensive service. So for our purpose, so there, I would like you to utilize this informations freely. Yeah. For example, the Quezon City is implemented the license plate survey and the boarding underwriting survey and the passenger OD surveys. And this is, I say it so that it's throwing these three surveys, so the necessary information for the route planning is already prepared by themselves. And in the reports, only the intra-LGU route is covered. However, the Quezon City answered the inter-LGU routes are also covered. So it is very happy to hear that if such kind of data set can be utilized, so there more so-called desired level route plannings can be implemented. So their effort is itself is very welcoming. However, on the other hand, is it impossible to do other municipality, I suppose? Yes. So I would like you to discuss how the data is prepared is also one of the issues. So yeah, yes. Quezon City has conducted a very comprehensive traffic survey by themselves. So does DOTR want to let all LGUs, including the NCR or other regions? It's also very important issues. And and additionally speaking, so for example, another point, another alternative. So if for example, the rice on cycle such kind of the similar survey was implemented, conducted by the LTFRB when for example, all public transport PUV operators needs to submit some document to renew the license. I'm not sure the terms, 1 year, 4 months, or 6 months, 2 years. But if when some of the such kind of license forms is digitalized and some necessary information is newly included, so such kind of not so accurate like the Quezon cities. However, the similar secondary alternative data sets can be prepared. And if the DOTR can prepare some data set and provide it with each other LGUs, so all LGUs can prepare their more dedicated route plannings and analysis itself. So this is what I proposed to the LTFRB.
Thank you, Futesa-san. I think Mr. Kimpo also has additional comments. Go ahead po, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for engineer for your comment earlier. I think if we are really to maximize on the study that is currently on hand, to expect the local governments to pursue a revised LPTRP manual along the lines that are being recommended by the consultants, it might not be realistic. Number one, let me say that already quite frankly. Um, Again, Quezon City poured in a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, a lot of financial resources into the study that we did. Following the LPTRP manual, we did flirt with the idea of trying to do a little more along the lines that have been lectured upon us. But I honestly tell everybody in this gathering that that's going to be easier said than done. To actually implement a research at that level might not be realistic at this point. However, considering that the LPTRP of Quezon City was really just an LPTRP of one of the 17 LGUs in NCR, I respectfully submit that maybe in considering a higher level LPTRP or LPTP at the NCR level or even at the Greater Manila level, we can consider what it is that has been lectured upon us, but only for the purposes of the circumferential, radial roads and the major ingress and egress points leading to and from NCR, so that the study, which will be have to be national government led, it will have to be NCR wide, need not go through the nitty gritty of the interior feeder route networks of each local government. As it is, most of the routes that we saw in Quezon City, whether intra-city or intercity, actually utilized R7, R8, C4, C5, C3. Therefore, really much of the concerns that we are dealing with really deal with these major arterial roads. If we can focus the study on those roads alone, and then there are a lot. It's not as if that is just a measly amount to cover or area to cover. That's a lot. And again, most of our current public transport routes utilize these arterial roads anyway. So if I may respectfully suggest, let's focus a higher regional level study on those, and then just allow the individual LPTRPs following the original LPTRP manual to be undertaken by the LGUs. I think that would be a good way forward for us to consider in order for the brilliance of our Japanese consultants to actually reverberate in the effort, and in order for this study to be useful and for something productive to come out of it. I respectfully submit your honors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Akabe, but noted on the recommendations and suggestions. I think I appreciate the recommendation, especially on a regional wide plan, especially for the NCR. I'd like to maybe inform that that is also an initiative that the DOTr is currently undertaking. We're just trying to, of course, come up with a more robust terms of reference for it to be more resilient, especially to consider all factors to minimize disruptions, especially with the previous study that we have conducted has not been able to deliver its target deliverable. So right now, that is something that the department is currently working on. Maybe the TCP or the technical cooperation project can further supplement those initiatives, not just on the plan for the entire region, but also on the other projects as well that the DOTr is currently conducting and initiating. But I think on the proposed LPTRP template, and as what Akabebat mentioned, since the QC LPTRP has already been comprehensively developed and the data has the complete data needed to come up with a plan. Maybe we can probably discuss internally within the DOTr, maybe an LTFRB, to maybe adjust a little bit on the template or the format of LPTRPs for those LGUs that has not have develop their LPTRPs. Maybe that is something that we can consider and adopt. But we appreciate all those LGUs that have already drafted the LPTRPs comprehensively. But we also acknowledge the other cities and municipalities that doesn't have the capacity and resources to develop their LPTRPs and gather data to develop those plans. So thank you. So go ahead, Futo-san. Thank you.
And okay, thank you so much. And this is what the similar items, similar surveys which was conducted in the Kathmandu cities in the capital of Nepal. Yes, and Nepal has only 200 public transport route, and the 65 only 65 public transport operators in Kathmandu. So very easier than your cities. However, for each route, how many buses operated and how many number of trips is made by the bus is collected from the survey form. From the analyzing the such kind of collected informations and merged by the sections on the how many trips per directions per hours can be visualized like this. And you can see there, some sections has a very congested by the public transport vehicles. And you can see the so many large buses is parked and operated along this corridor. And the international, just the so-called the theoretically speaking section with more than 80 trips per hour per directions leads the traffic congestions around the bus stops because if trips by public transport is exceeds this values, so the public transport vehicles is stuck at the signals. So this is the so-called the physical capacities of the public transport vehicles, I suppose. And in Kathmandu cases, the many sections has more than 240 trips per peak hour per directions. And the very serious congestions caused by the very minibus. And you can see the vehicles in the Kathmandu cities is similar with the smaller jeepney or some of the UV expresses. If these vehicles can be converted to the larger buses, the number of public transport vehicles can be reduced drastically. So the situation is a little bit similar with your city also. So the promoting to replacing with the larger and the clean energy buses is also argued in this city also. Then this is not so strictly the route plannings. However, then the bus park facility design issues. Yeah, when they're along the heavy traffic sections, then the capacity of the bus bars meaning the one with the parking slot of the buses can be specified like this following formula. Yes. So if there one bus can dwell and with the clearance times, it will take the 120 seconds, meaning the 2 minutes. As in that cases, though there are only 30 vehicles per hour can be accommodated by the only one spaces. Then according to their formula, so the bus stop design can be prepared. So for example, if according to this survey or counting survey, and there in this section, 60 buses will come in the peak hour. So the 2 slots can be secured. So if there are 2 blocks are secured, so the traffic congestion caused by the bus stop could be avoided. However, then if the route the passenger demand then this is a case in their own case studies in the on-street bus stops in Tenjin area in the Fukuoka cities. Yeah, and according to this sections is this section is expanded in this figure, and among these 5 routes, in total, 100 trips per peak hours are handled by these 5 bus buses. Yes. So that to avoid, and you know that there is among the 3 corridors in these cities. Yes. And then to avoid the concentrations in the one corridor, route network is planned to avoid over concentration. Yes, into the three east-west corridors in the cities. So by the directions, so the bus route is separately allocated. Then this areas is these 3 bus stops is connected by the underground shopping arcades in the Fukuoka city. So the safety walking environment is secured. But this is one of the best cases for the public transport traffic management in the city centers in Japan. Then this is a sort of demanding side. So the passenger trip, if as well as the number of trips per peak hour. So then the passenger demand is expected. This is based on some onboard passenger volume survey, which is also conducted by the Quezon City also. Then according to this figure, according to the bus stop, how many passengers on board and how many passengers board newly and arrived newly is counted. Based on this result, so according between the bus stop, how many passengers on board and how many passengers board and arrived is measured. Based on this result, then for example, the per trips, ridership, travel distance, and the total passenger kilometer and average trip length is also estimated. And based on this result, for example, the trips, so how many percent, the fitting ratio per route, meaning the average trip length per route kilometers can be estimated. Utilizing the fitting ratio as the parameter of the passenger demands, so that then the transport density is multiplying the fitting ratio and the number of trips is applied. So the total transport densities per road sections also can be estimated. So this is totally similar with the previous figure. However, then according to the vehicle sizes and the average load factors by sections and by vehicle types, so the more specific informations about the passenger demand in terms of the transport densities can be visualized and estimated. Then the left sides, then some benchmarks of the transport system selections by the transport densities is specified. The section with 50,000 passenger packs per kilometers, introducing large bus. Or it means that, yes, introducing the jeepney or smaller vehicles should be avoided. And more than 100,000 sections, so it is very difficult, little bit difficult to handle by road-based public transport. So introducing the BRT or light rail is also considered. But through such kind of measurement, so the public transport, how according to the estimated passenger demand by sections, then what kind of public transport mode also shall be selected. And so this is the railway modes. And according to some statistic figures, so the capacities of the railway transport mode in your cities is compared. You can see there, And compared with Japan, so in Philippines, Metro Manila, so the capacity is very dangerous standards is specified. You can see there this capacity is official one. However, then the LRTA and the MRTC suppose the number of passenger is 8 passenger per square meter. Yes. So in Japan, it's just a three person per square meter. So the compared with Japan, so the capacity select settings in the railway in Metro Manila is a little bit dangerous. You need to remember it. And there not only for the railway-based modes, so the road-based public transport modes has the city barriers, the passenger demands. And you can see, so the buses can accommodate 75% according to the size. However, in 12 meter, 75 passengers is accommodate, and the jeepney has a 12 to 32 passenger. This is also according to the size of the vehicles. Then this figure is very simple, however, the very important tables. According to the estimated passenger demand, then the large bus and the BRT with articulated berths and the light rail in your cities, and the heavy rail, which is introduced in the MRT Line 2 and the Metro Manila Subway project. Then according to the estimated passenger demands, which travel mode shall be applied according to the peak headway and average headway also can be estimated. So that if you can identify the sectional transport density by the road section, and which can be collected from the survey, and which is conducted by Quezon City, or what I proposed. So the number of what kind of travel modes, and the jeepney or enough or large bus shall be introduced, and the large bus is also not accommodate. So can't accommodate. So the BRT or large modes shall be introduced. Such kind of discussions also can be implemented through the data collections. Then it is already discussed by Quezon City sides, and the Quezon Cities has the prepared draft LPTRP, and they have implemented license plate survey and boarding and alighting survey and passenger OD survey. And in the report of the LPTRP in Quezon Cities, only the intra-LGU routes are covered. However, the Quezon City side answered that they also conducted the inter-LGU routes they have surveyed. Then this is the part of the boarding and alighting survey results. So based on the informations, the number of trips by public transit route is specified. If when I utilize such information, so the similar figure with this figure in Quezon Cities can be visualized. I expected. So the boarding and alighting survey is also implemented. And based on these results, so the passenger transport densities also can be estimated. So through these informations, I suppose, so the more drastic, more specific and practical the route plannings can be estimated. And this one is just a recap of the last sections. Yes, eventually, only the following informations: and number of daily average operating vehicles and the number of trips per vehicle per day is available. So some route plan, some works for the route plannings can be implemented. Then the Quezon City has conducted the comprehensive traffic survey. So it's a very wonderful effort and needs to be, yes, priced. However, does DOTr want to let all LGUs to do by their budget? Yes, and with route plannings, yeah. Yes, which I mentioned in previous sessions. So the output 2, how to design the stops by the route and the destination group. And output 3, how regulate the driver and the passenger to stop and wait at the dedicated stops also shall be considered for the implement the public transport operation as according to the route plannings. So the cooperations and the coordinations among the group is more necessary, I suppose. Okay, thank you so much.